Hello,
Hi.
I'm Fry, working here as a journalist on video content. I just want to ask you a question. Why are you here for in Terisano Community Center?
So I'm Mohammed Abdullah from thisimani Center for Activist Education, and I'm here today to visit Vitarisano to understand more about what this community center is doing, but also to interview comrades who are Congolese
Yeah.
and find out about their experiences in Cape Town, and so more people can understand the struggles of being somebody who's called foreign in Cape Town, but has been here for a long time and are part of the Cape Town community. And we want to understand how can we as people in South Africa
Yeah.
show solidarity for this community who are part of the fabric of
Okay.
this city and to better understand and celebrate this part of our African heritage.
Okay.
So
So
we're going to speak.
supporting the Congolese people about the document. So do you think are you going to achieve it? Because there is a lot of people here in Cape Town, especially Congolese people, but it's not only Congolese people. There is a lot of our nations. They are undocumented paper. How can you come in the country without paper? So means those people they had paper before, but the system, the system made them to be without paper. So are you thinking about your help? Are you going to help them for sure?
So we met with Scalabrini,
Okay.
a legal center yesterday, and we're trying to understand better about this, the backlogs in the system, about how long it takes to actually get the interviews done, and about the corruption in the system where they exploit people for money to get documentation. And the whole process to get asylum or refugee is supposed to take about 6 months, but we know it actually takes years.
Okay.
And so there's years and years of people who are Congolese who are here with good reasons because they're trying to escape the war and all the violence taking place in eastern Congo. But the situation is now that they are almost rendered by the system to become criminals. The system actually makes them criminals. They face violence in Congo, they like physical violence, war violence, but then they face here administrative violence from the city of Cape Town and by Home Affairs. And so we're trying to highlight the story so that other people can understand that people are not here illegally by their own choice. They're trying to follow the right routes, all the legal routes. But because the system has so many dysfunctions in it, it makes them in a situation where they have very little options. They can't get access to healthcare. They can't get access to employment because they don't have documentation. And so part of what we're trying to do here is talk about not just solidarity with what's happening with the massacres in DRC, but also about the struggles people are facing on the ground here being Congolese. And so in our small way, we're trying to platform the story at the very least. And in our event on the 25th on Africa Day, what we want to do is also just celebrate and help Congolese people say, no, we recognize what you're going through. You belong here, you're part of our community, and we are going to stand by you and try and platform what is going on here so that other people can understand.
Okay. So before to come to Congolese people question, I will just based from the foreigner which living here in South Africa. There is also certain people they had status. The government South African gave them a status, but now those status are taken away. So you go to renew, for example, you go to renew your paper, and they said you don't have a right to keep on. With your paper, they take it out. So what can you say to the government, South Africa government, to stop that, because it's causing a lot of tribulation to the foreigners nation which living in South Africa?
I mean, I would say to the South African government that when we were in fighting against apartheid, when the government's fighting against apartheid, those countries opened up their spaces for people to go into exile to support them. And right now, when there's wars taking place on the continent, it should be the same. It should be the same where people should be allowed to come in here and seek refuge until things stabilize in those countries. But also, the South African government must take an active step in trying to ensure that the war and all the kind of violence that takes place in Congo must be stopped. They must use their political power, their soft power to try and stop what's going on there. And they must understand that the backlogs, administrative backlogs, that
Yeah.
inefficiencies, the corruption, is actually creating people who are suffering more here in South Africa. And so I'd say it's unacceptable. It must be called to account. And South Africa must stop acting like a Western imperial country and understand that they're also African. We're also African people here. And so we need to be in solidarity with each other and assist each other when we are facing wars internally, civil wars.
Okay, so the last question is about the Congo. Congo is a country which is a country full of richness, worthy of the world. So today there is a war imposed by Congolese people, and using a puppet as Paul Kagame to use to destroy the DRC. But if you look at that border, it's not like Rwanda, but it's people behind the Rwanda. So now there is a war in the east of the DRC. Last week or last month, they did bombarding, the camps of refugee. Almost 45 people they've been died, and we can't counting even those one they got a wound. So how can you say it about it? How that war can be stopped?
I mean, I think we must understand that these wars are manufactured. They're manufactured by multi corporations in the West who want to make sure that Congo remains unstable so they can exploit and extract all the minerals, cobalt, all the things we use in our cell phones, that kind of stuff. They get it for super cheap from Congo. The only place you can find cobalt is in Congo. They get it for super cheap because there's no people who are actually holding and centralizing that production line. And so when there's warfare, people can get exploited, the mines can be unregulated, and they can extract all the minerals without any type of care. So we must understand that as much as the war is happening in Congo, it's being enforced by Western powers, by people, multinational tech companies, who are there ensuring that nobody each side has a bit of power and has arms so they can fight each other. And so the rebel groups arrive and they fight each other, but really the ones behind it all are the Western countries trying to extract the minerals, and they are using the government, potentially people, officials who are paid off to ensure that things remain unstable. And so they'll back whoever's going to allow them to actually extract the minerals easiest, I think. That's how I understand it. And so we must understand, as much as Congolese people are fighting Congolese people, the real enemy, as it has always been, the people are trying to separate people from each other, trying to cause divisions amongst Congolese people. So I think that's really what's going on.
Okay, so when you look at Paul Kagame, what can you say to Paul Kagame?
Paul Kagame, as I understand it, I don't understand the situation. I know that a lot of people are seeing that there's a war between Congo and Rwanda. But as I understand it, as long as people are fighting each other, Africans are fighting each other, and politicians are backing that, it is not going to lead us towards any type of. Only people who's going to benefit at the end are the imperialists.
Okay, so for the last question, can you introduce yourself and to finish the interview?
Sure. So I'm Mohammed Abdullah. I'm from Thisimani Center for Activist Education, based at UWC in Cape Town.
We thank you. God bless you.